Why, hello there, Lauren.
Hello.
You're looking beautiful today with are those new glasses?
They're reading glasses and they help me not get headaches when I'm on the computer.
This is what
I
happens
have
now
the blue light.
for senior citizens like you.
Amazon, I get like a 5-pack of them because I lose them all the time.
Is that one of the first things that, like, you're old when
you have to buy multi-packs of reading glasses. Yes, absolutely. I have them in like every bag, my backpack, in the car even, I leave them.
But I wouldn't say you're old though. You're just,
My eyes are old.
Your eyes are old. Yeah, I'm not going with that. We're old yet. I know we are. It's fine. At the time of this taping, I'm either 46 or 47. I actually don't know, and I get very confused.
I'm 47, so you're
okay. So then I'm 46.
Mhm.
Then that's easy.
There we go.
I'll just ask you how old you are every time,
And then we'll be
fine
about it.
Yeah, that's
I'll
it.
tell you the wrong age.
Oh, guys, I'm Nat, by the way. Hi, everybody. That's Lauren Oak. She
Hi.
is our resident doula, lactation consultant, bestie, snack maven,
Yes, love a good
editorial
snack.
content extraordinaire. What else do you do?
I don't know. I do a little bit of everything.
You're a dabbler.
I am. I like to dabble.
You are. You're
I'm
definitely
not scared
definitely a
of
dabbler.
I'm not scared of a challenge and new things.
I know. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that the people that surround us, they're all pretty much the
They're
same.
all like that. Yeah. We surround
Except maybe
ourselves.
one in our group. We'll let them figure out who they are in our little circle.
And they're all going to look at each
They're
other.
never going to listen to this. Let's be honest. Out of our circle of friends. So yeah. So me and Lauren, back during the pandemic, I have like several groups of friends, right? Lauren, you have like school friends, right? Like you have Chrissy. And so like, that's another circle, but it's not like you're choosing to isolate your friend circles. It just happens.
Although Chrissy and Lisa are friends now. The way
then I'm going to get upset. Now I'm left out.
Next time you come out, I'll bring you over to Chrissy's.
Okay. That would make me feel better. Okay. I would really make me feel better. So during the pandemic, I had all these different friends that I desperately wanted to see, even via Zoom. And I was like, I can't have another Zoom cocktail night. I'm going to need a liver transplant. It's going to be bad. So I decided to merge my friend groups and made them. So it's really friends and family because there's family members in our group.
Yes.
And that's it. And the rest, and we still have a group chat going 77 years later.
3 years later, we're still buddies.
It's really great.
It started out bigger and it's faded, but now there's the solid group.
Yeah. I forgot who was in the original group. We're really faded.
There was more people. There were definitely a few more people who would come to like game night on Friday.
Yes. But they weren't like real. They were just like droppers by.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is like the real deal. We're like the core group now.
Yes.
But it's like it's so funny because everybody is from a different walk of life and not everybody has twins.
Yep.
Right. So there's like the twin moms, and then there is, my neighbor friends, and then there's my family friends, and then there's like people from the kids' school. So it's really, I'm so happy that that worked out. And I love that your common thread would be technically me.
Yes. Well, everybody, in the group, the common thread is you.
But now, as everybody's now gotten together, we realize that we have all a lot in common.
And we keep in touch like outside of you, sort of.
Thank goodness. Yes. Which is allowed.
Sorry. Yes. If that offends you.
I'm not offended by. But one of the things the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that we really utilize each other to bounce ideas off of. And then when we're stressed, and it's so nice to have people that are old friends and new friends.
Yes.
Right? Because like your old friends, you're like, I know what she's going to say about this. I could already predict it. But the newer friends, by the way, my mom is full on having a party. I don't know if you would hear.
I can't hear, no.
The cheering.
What is she doing?
I don't know what she's doing.
Oh, now I hear something.
Okay. Yeah. Also notice the door is closed, by the way, and I have soundproofing on it. And yet this is still how loud it is. Right. So anyway, older friends, kind of what their script's going to be. And it's nice to have newer friends to say, yeah, like I have to run this idea by you. Did you find, like, even now, right? So 3 years into this, do you think that you could predict what people's answers are going to be if you have a particular struggle?
Kind of. I think I've gotten
Okay.
to know a lot of the ladies in the group pretty well.
Yeah.
And they're all like smart, funny, and like resourceful, and they give great advice. So there's
I
not a ding
agree.
dong out of any of them. None of them are like, I don't like that one. I love them all.
I do. Me too. I love our peoples, but I really know, like, sometimes, honestly, as crazy as this sounds, if I'm looking for a particular answer to something that I feel like I could skew the group based on who I ask.
Okay.
So if I ask like you, and I know that you're like more open-minded about something than somebody
Mhm.
else, I would aim the question at you so you can start the conversation and then steer it.
I'll remember that next time you
I've been
ask
doing it for
me.
years. It's great. Nobody's even picked up on this, by the way. If you ever see me like address a specific question, like, to be honest, in our group, I would say, not that the others aren't, but I would say you probably are the most nurturing.
Well, it's in my nature to be, and my job is being nurturing.
I know.
It's just who I am.
Well, it is who you are. So I'm like, okay, if I need comforting,
You're
like,
gonna
I
ask
would
me.
go to you.
Okay.
See, isn't that good? And I
That's
don't know if other
nice.
people, and I think like other people, I don't know if I'm like the female dog of the group. I don't know what.
Alpha.
I don't want to, like, I want to say bitch is what I was going to say, but I was trying not to curse. So I don't want to say alpha, but like, I think that sometimes I could be a little bit pushier than some of the other people. Not really, honestly.
No,
Nobody in our group really could be pushed
nobody's
around,
pushy. No.
except Genevieve. We could push her around.
Oh, poor Genevieve.
We'll make her.
You always are mean to her.
Oh, I'm really not. It's really my sister. What a shame.
She, they
Horrible.
have like a fake, I don't know if it's fake actually, jealousy type of
It's
thing.
totally fake. It's totally fake. We grew up together. So
Yeah.
yeah, like Jen was a single child. So Jen always had stuff that we didn't have, my
Everything.
sister and
Yes.
I. So
Yes.
we would be like, Jen would have like new clothes and I would be in my
Beautiful
sister's.
party dresses.
Yes, totally. But that really was true, Lauren. Honestly, you saw the picture that she put up on the other day. Did you see that dress she was in? See? So like that's kind of what topic that we're going to talk about today. We're talking to a guest, Jen, and the whole thing is about how you don't have to put on a fake face. And it's totally fine to just be like, this stinks. I'm not into it. I
Yes.
hate where I am right now. How do I fix it? Like, it's great to have the circle that we do to
Yes.
just be honest about it.
Yes.
But now, of course, there's those people who aren't, right? So that are living in the cloud and the misery, and they're just putting on kind of like this fake face and this
Yes.
fake front. And they're posting pictures that are like, everything is great. And I love parenting and I love being a partner and I love living where we live. When in
Yeah.
reality, it could just be crumbling in the background.
I always say that people who are putting that up all the time, like everything's great, in behind the scenes, they're falling apart. There's no way.
There
Like
is no
people who
way.
put that they love their spouse so much all the time, like on
Yes.
Instagram and Facebook, I'm like, what? Really?
It's like, no, not all the
Like,
time.
yeah. Like
I'm not saying that we don't
who do
love
you
our
need?
spouses, for the
No, because
record.
we do. But like,
Yes.
who are
But
you trying to convince?
everybody has a Netflix murder reality
Yes.
show that they're going to be the
Yes.
star of in their head.
Yes.
They'll use this for a court case someday, I'm sure. Be like, Your Honor, Exhibit A, podcast number 7762. Natalie
Said they
clearly
hated
was
their
going to murder her
husband.
husband. That's it.
She said she didn't love him.
That's it. Horrible. I'm hoping never to star in a Netflix
Oh
reality
God,
show about
no.
murder. That would be
No,
bad.
not about maybe about winning the lottery.
My lottery dream home.
Yes.
Yes. Or what about that faking it show, the baking one?
Oh, I don't really watch those. The
I
kids
don't
do?
either, but I see like the thingy
Yeah.
scroll.
All right.
But nothing beats, Lauren, what show
Oh
is
my
the best
God.
reality show that's
Love
ever
Island.
existed? Not Love Island.
The
Okay,
Circle?
although it's up there.
There's a lot.
No, Lauren, it's one that will live in infamy. That
Oh,
maybe
nailed it. But not nailed it. There's two nailed it.
yes.
There's the one
Nailed it.
that is
I'm
like they
Googling
do
it up.
the cake decorating thing called nailed it, but then there's the nailed it, and the nailed it one blows it out of the. I think there was one season with like 4 episodes, and you made us watch all of them on a flight.
Okay. It's literally called Nailed It. It's a 2018 reality
It was
show. Lauren, guess how
horrible.
many seasons there were?
2. I'm gonna say 2.
7.
7. 7. I could
It's on
barely get through
Netflix.
the 4 episodes you made us watch. It was horrible.
I,
It was
now,
like torture.
wait a second. Maybe that is the other Nailed It. Hold
I
on.
think that's the other Nailed It. Remember
Nope, I'm Googling it.
Classic?
Yes.
If anyone's listening to this podcast, please Google Nailed It, the Nail reality show. And I do apologize for the torture that you're going to observe.
I know why. Okay, here's what it is. It's Nailed, Nail apostrophe D.
Mm-hmm.
It.
Yes.
So it was on Oxygen. And the first thing, it was a quick try challenge is what they called it. Lauren, that was the best. I don't care what anybody says. Hands down, iconic television, Nailed, Nail apostrophe D. Not the other one. That's on Netflix. Okay, that I don't
torture
think.
your friends, make them watch that on a flight. Where were we going?
It's only
Turks and
season 1.
Caicos?
We were. By the way,
You're
there's
like,
one
oh, I downloaded
season.
this great show. Let's watch it.
It's really a lot. It's a lot. Guys, one season you could buy all the episodes for $12.99. Is it worth $12.99? No. You could buy one episode for $2.99. That I would say, try it. See what's there. I love this idea. Yeah, so you could watch that. But that's like, we never discussed that with the girls.
No.
We really should. That's got to go. That's got to go on the list. And we could be like, this show stinks. That's what we're going to say. And it's okay.
Everybody watch it.
Nailed it. Oh my gosh. By Adrienne Ballone from The Real. I don't even know who she is. I'm sorry, Adrienne. I apologize. I'll message you on Insta after this. But yeah, it's from 2014. Totally worth a watch. And yes. And so today, that is what the topic is that it's okay to say things stink. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay for all of that. So are you ready to meet Jen?
I am.
All right, guys. Here's my friend Jen. And remember, you're going to be okay. Jen, my sister from another mister.
Indeed.
Jen,
Hello.
Jen, why didn't nobody tell us the truth when we were expecting? Why does it have to be that everybody tells you, oh, it's going to be great, everything is going to be great, but that's not the case for everybody. But then when it's not the case for everybody, we feel like we did something wrong or we're the wrong people. So Jen, tell us about your story into twin motherhood and what brings you into our wonderful podcast house today.
Well, first, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. So I am Jen. I am mom to 9-year-old twins, Jake and Rachel. And, kind of my journey, my story is, my husband and I met, got married, wanted to have kids, took us some time to have kids, had a little intervention on having the kids, and lucky enough, you're having twins, great. Not for a second when I was pregnant did I panic, did I get worried, did I think this was going to be anything I couldn't handle. I was, in my opinion, I was well-versed in kids. I was always, the nature of my job was I was always around kids. I had a young niece, like I got this. So I have my kids. Great. My son was my big boy. He was 5'10". My daughter was 3'11". She wound up in the NICU for 8 days, had to become a chubby 4 pounds, and then she was able to leave the NICU. So we were very lucky and very fortunate with that. But so here I am home with these babies. I didn't think to hire help, get help. I was like, I got this, like no problem. And about 24 hours in, woof, I was slammed in the face and kind of didn't recover for 2 years. So, to your point, right? We're lucky, right? We got twins and it's great. And you got that and logic, fine. But then there's the harsh reality of having twins, the lack of sleep, the trying to feed, the getting them on schedules, the ones off the schedule. And then, as you and I had spoken about a little bit prior, everyone coming to you and telling you how lucky and how kind of telling you how you should be feeling versus how you're actually feeling. And I think to me, that was even harder than handling my two babies. People coming and oh, this is the best, this is the greatest. And I actually remember sitting in the living room. I don't remember who was coming to visit, but saying how lucky we were and the babies and this. And I was looking at them and I swear, like I was kind of like, lacking sleep and out of my mind. I was looking at them and trying to have them hone in on my brain waves that I'm like, I'm dying. Like I'm suffering. Great. This is not great. And then, no one picking up on the cues that I was trying to give. Everyone just, I think I played it off really well because my kids were fed, they were bathed, they were dressed, they were, but I was miserable, just miserable.
Jen, I would love to say that you're the first person that has ever told me that they tried to communicate using telepathy. However, you're not. It's one of those things that I wish that there was like a way that we could telepathically let each other know or send out some kind of like signal to other twin parents in the area that just says like, we're not okay too. And it's not only twin parents. I shouldn't say that we're not the only ones. We're not exclusive to new parenting misery. There's a lot of us out there. Now, do you think, Jen, that I'm going to give you an A, B, and C. Do you think that A, the reason was because it is the perfect poop storm that you were in caring for two babies? Was it B, that you thought that parenting was going to be different, therefore you set yourself up for failure, basically, by thinking it was that? Or was it C, that you had guilt because everybody is telling you that it's supposed to be great and it wasn't?
It was a combination, but that guilt piece, I mean, dare I say B and C, yes, it's a poop storm, 100%, got it. B and C, I set my bar. I don't know who I thought I was. I set my bar like an impossible bar and I wasn't coming close to meeting it. And then C, the guilt and the expectations and, you can't help, you're home with kids, you're going on social media a little bit, you're seeing all these like stories and images, and you can't help but see these things and say, what is wrong with me? I'm not even close to this. And like, again, like running in the fields with my baby, like what? Like if I got a shower every day, that was an accomplishment.
Truth.
And it just made me feel worse about myself where, now 9 years later, you could take a step back and be like, I was doing a damn good job. Like my kids, like they were okay. I was getting it done. I didn't necessarily feel the best. And it's sloppy. It's totally sloppy, right? Parenting multiples. But if someone would have kind of just said that to me maybe, or said, don't look at social media, or yes, this is horrible. And it's okay to say this is horrible. We're all in the same boat. I think it would have felt better. I think I would have probably given myself a little more of a break. Yeah.
Dude, I'm right there with you. It's why whenever I'm like teaching class, I say, you know what, don't go on Google, just stay on our page. That's it.
Yeah.
Just come to Twiniversity. We are a safe portal for you to come visit. It's the reality. And there's success stories. I mean, let's call it like we see it. Not everybody is miserable. There are people who have just a wonderful time. However, the majority, in all sincerity, even if they're telling you it's great, it's probably not. Is that horrible to say? And now, if you're listening to this and you're like, Nat, that's it, I'm pressing stop. I love you. Press stop, because that's what this episode is about. If you're having a good time, we're not yucking your yum. We're really happy for you. But for those of you that are out there that are listening, that's saying, oh my God, Jen and Nat totally get it. They understand me. That's what it is. This is, Jen, why can't people do this? Right? So now you got your mom hat and then you got your therapist hat, right?
Yeah.
What the heck is wrong with us?
What the heck is wrong with us? I think it's that, there's the difference between reality and kind of this fantasy, right? And we all kind of aspire to this, or we have this idea of what it should be.
Yeah.
And it's not matching what our reality is. And then, like you said, then these feelings of you're not capable, you're not competent, like you're not living up to. And so instead of saying, it's not me, it's a situation, this is hard stuff, you kind of tend to take it upon yourself that it must be me because everybody else seems to get it in check and I'm not. And so, with that comes really these just feelings of just being inadequate. And you're not. It's just, this is hard, but no one has kind of given you the space to be authentic about it, to be real about it, to let it out. Like, doesn't make you a bad parent by saying, this sucks, I hate this. No, that's real. And you're allowed to say that. You could say, I love my kid and I hate this moment. That's okay.
Truth.
Yep.
This could be our church. I want to be like, preach, Jen.
Well, so I kind of say, as a therapist, I kind of pivoted and included this in my work, right? And so new mom support groups, parenting groups, parent coaching. Again, it's kind of giving mom, dad, parents, whomever, a safe space, non-judgmental, safe space to let it out.
Yeah.
Right? You want to work on goals? We'll work on goals. You just need to vent. I gotcha. Right? It's okay.
I love therapy, man. It's the best.
Yeah.
Literally the best. I keep like a note list here of actually their Post-its of things that I have to bring up to my therapist. And I'm like, oh, don't forget to tell her about this. I'll be like, I had this dream. What does that mean? As if it's going to turn into like some Freudian situation. And she's like, I don't know what you want from me, Nat. I'm like, everything, Angelica. Tell me everything.
Give it.
Guide me.
Yes.
I also was thinking that truthfully, why can't we tax deduct therapy? Because it is like business coaching. Why isn't that a tax deductible thing? Going out there on a limb. But I do think that everybody should be in some kind of therapy. And it doesn't have to be with like somebody with letters after their name. It could be somebody that you feel safe speaking to. And maybe it's not your partner, because a lot of times people don't go to their partner because they don't want to admit to their partner that they feel like a failure, because then all the partners are going to say is, how do you feel that way? Why do you feel that way? You're doing great. Everything is great. Why can't you just be happy for a second? So God bless our partners. They're wonderful. But sometimes you just need to talk and you need somebody to say, you're right. You're just right. Okay, now, Jen, we know that we're in this kind of storm. And now we've acknowledged the fact that things aren't the way we thought they were going to be. Yeah. Right. And so we have a podcast that I got to remember who it was. And somebody always said, maybe it was this woman, Fran. I got to go back and listen. But she said, you have to stop shoulding on yourself. Yeah. Yeah. In the way that things should be. And that was a real big record scratch for me. Yeah. Not only in just my life as a human, but like as a woman and as a parent. And instead of me thinking, oh, this is the way things should be for my twins, or this is the way it should be for my home, we have to just get rid of that. That was a very big thing for me to kind of come to that realization that there is no such thing as a should, because that's somebody else's reality. That's not mine. Yeah. What other things could people do, or what other mantras could we say when we realize that it's okay to not be okay? What are some things that we could do to make ourselves feel either validated or even better, dare I say? Even better. So I always, and it's such like a basic thing to say, like kind of my inner monologue dialogue was always like, all right, you got this, you got this. And that kind of like allowed myself to kind of push through a little bit, but also to kind of own that this is messy and it's okay. And you just kind of keep pushing through. I say, just when you think you can't, you can and you will, right? You kind of roll those sleeves up and you get dirty and you get through it and you come out the other side. But I love that you should, because that too, again, kind of having these false illusions of what we think it's going to be or what it should be. And then reality comes crashing down and they're not, on equal playing fields. Some advice that I do give new moms, and this is like basic advice, right? What I found was helpful to me is, one,
get out every day.
Mhm.
I found being outside, being in the world, putting those kids in the stroller. There's such great weather here. It doesn't make a difference if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's raining. You can get out. Right? I said the moms in Scandinavia are going out in blizzards. We can handle it here. Yeah. So get out. It makes you feel like you're part of the world. Connecting with other new parents, I found to be really, really helpful. But again, the parents, and you don't know this until obviously you meet them, but the parents who are kind of going through similar situations than you, who are maybe having the struggles the same as you. I remember I met two other twin moms. Literally, we were walking up and down the same streets in Brooklyn day in and day out, and we all would shoot. And clear we had twins. We had the double strollers. We would shoot each other these like very intense kind of looks, like I gotcha, I feel it. And eventually we stopped, we started talking, and we became friends. And the kids became friendly, which is really cool. So kind of you had like your team, your people, your anchor, the people that you could turn to kind of be free with what you were feeling or saying. And then too, like I said before too, like the social media piece, I say, get off social media, but stay social, if that makes sense. And I know social media is big, and a lot of our work is generated through social media, and I recognize that, and there's a place for it. But it's also a place that could really make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So I kind of encourage new parents, like maybe put it on hold for a little bit, or only go to, platforms that are going to be helpful. Twiniversity, right? That's going to give you like the information that maybe you need, and the support that you need, and the camaraderie that you need in that moment, versus seeing somebody else who's telling you, I had twins 3 weeks ago and I'm back to my size 2 pants. Not helpful. Right. So all those little areas, I kind of encourage and stress that, maybe it'd be helpful to get through the time. That's really a hard time.
I'm going to say something that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but whatever. Welcome to my world. Okay. Something that's really, really aggravating the crap out of me is there are people on social media that are now posting images of, I want to like say air quotes, reality, but it's really not. And I don't want to call anybody out by name, but there is a big celebrity that just had twins. And I was very thrilled that she was going to be part of our kind of family here. And I actually think that she's doing a very poor job representing us, because she's one of those people that was like, this is reality. This is my real. And she's trying to be real. And so you kind of get sucked in and being like, oh my God, she's one of us. Like everything, like I'm glad that somebody's speaking out on that has such a big platform, and it's actually not good. And so I was looking at it last night. I was like, please, I hope nobody's looking at this. Like, I hope nobody's like following her, because this is just going to make people feel bad. And so I'm now, I'm a big girl now. So my kids are going into college any second. And I have been there, and I know how vulnerable people could be. So even if this is going to sound horrible, but I don't think you should follow any one person. I wish that there was I just don't think you should follow people. I think you could follow groups. You could follow nonprofits. You could follow something that's a voice of a people, not necessarily a people. Is that horrible, Jen?
No, I salute you. I think that is great, because exactly what you said, whoever this person is that you were talking about, I would gather that tons of people are following them. And it is just this false image of what life with twins actually is, for whatever resources they have that most of us don't have, or who knows, a whole, array of different things that they're living that, chances are the average person isn't. It is not helpful. Not only is it not helpful, it's harmful. It is harmful because it just makes you feel bad. And you're already dealing with lack of sleep and scheduling and your hormones and every other thing that you need to handle as a new parent. And then to turn and see that again, it's just not realistic and harmful.
It is. It really is. And another thing is there's another celebrity that just had a home birth. with twins
Mhm.
and is, doing articles on how traumatic it was. And I want to say, what is going on here? Like, what happened? What happened? We're not allowed to give birth in homes here in the United States to twins. So because she had the finances to do this, now regular people are going to think that they have the opportunity to do this. And however, at this time, at this taping in, late, what I don't even know, it's November that we're taping this. You could be listening to this in 15 years from now, who knows? But at this time, that's not something that's really allowed because of the complications. And in the situations that you do get to have a home birth, sometimes it's because your hospital is too far away. Like there are people in like Montana that have home births, and there's people who are 3 hours away from a hospital. But even then, they have ambulances outside of their house during labor. But nobody's talking about that. And I'm like, okay, now she's going to think, now here's where people who are pregnant with twins are going to be following her, and they're going to go, why? I always wanted a home birth. Why can't I have a home birth? And Jen, this is like what sets people up. And it goes back to that ABC that I talked about. This is kind of that B with the expectations that people have. And that when you try to live in somebody else's shadow, it actually leads to more hurt.
100%. And yet it's so hard to I feel for a lot of people to kind of stand their ground and figure out what's best for them and their family, because again, there are all these outside influences and everybody has an opinion these days. Right. And it's hard again to kind of stay your ground, like this, this is what works for us and this is why, or you don't even need to justify this is why. It's just as long as you're okay with it, then that's what works for you, then great. So be it. But yeah, it's, having babies, there's so much out there. Like this is sometimes where tunnel vision would work best for you. Even too, I go back to celebrities aside, just your own family and their opinions and what they think you should. Oh, well, I did this way. Well, you didn't have twins, so it was different. And, parenting was different then too. And again, kind of giving these new parents the encouragement to say, hey, if you're putting your kids on a schedule, that's okay. Stick to the schedule. So you don't go to the dinner, you don't go. That's okay. This is what works for you. You have to stick with it because everyone's going to give you their opinion. And at the end of the day, you're the one left taking care of these babies. Yeah. You're the one who's going to be up if the babies, are not sleeping because they got off their nap schedule or food schedule, whatever the case may be. But again, trying to, give parents like that encouragement that you're in charge here. You're in charge here.
Jen.
Yeah.
Jen, why can't we just go to everybody's house?
Trust me, I'm telling you.
Literally just be like, knock, knock, knock. It's Nat and Jen. We're here for an intervention. Get ready. You're doing a great job. You're literally doing fantastic. Look at you. Yes. Oh, I haven't washed my hair. Who has? Shut up. Like, let's get on. Let's go eat something. Let's have some fun. What's going to make you smile? Let's have a dance party. Let's have a baby dance party. So it's really, 100%. I am, knock on wood, I am very thrilled that I have a very weird family. And where other people use that word, I do know that other parts of that country, other parts of this country will use the word weird with a negative connotation. Sure. However, it is a super delicious word in our house. Like there is no need to be like anybody other than you. Period. Hard stop. Which when you get to the point where you're raising kids, you have to make sure that you really believe that. Because if you're not drinking that originality Kool-Aid, there's no freaking way you're selling it to the kids. Right. Yeah. And so I'm with my mom is super duper weird. I am definitely not on, raised on the same planet as most people. And I remember that was a huge benefit when my kids were little, because I would do things that nobody else would do. And people would say like, how could you do that? And I would say, what? Like, how could you not do that? Like I would have wrestling matches with the twins when they were little, but they were like maybe a few months old. Like, honestly, Jen, they were so tiny. They didn't do anything. They were like potatoes, but I would make these fake wrestling videos and I would be like, in one corner, we have John Strosity, but he's like a little like 4-month-old and he's like dribbling down his face. And these are things that I did to entertain myself so that I didn't go crazy. Although some people may say I was in the midst of going crazy, hence why I'm making these. But it's trying to find the fun and doing whatever you want to do. Like if you want to make a wrestling video, great. If you want to go out and you wear your pajamas outside, I'm totally down with that. You want to not go to Thanksgiving dinner because it's going to get the babies off of the schedule. Delicious.
Yeah.
How do we convince new moms and new dads that they actually have the power to make these things happen?
Well, that's great. And empowering them, right? Empowering them and saying, hey, these are your kids, right? Your parents already raised their kids, the grandparents, great. This is now your immediate family. You're in charge here, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one left responsible for however this all plays out. It is okay to use your voice. But I always do say, yes, it might ruffle some feathers, but it is okay. These are your kids. These are the decisions you are making that work best for your family at this moment.
Oh, I love that. New parents don't realize that babies equal power.
Yes.
And
yes.
that the people who have the most babies hold the most cards. And I don't know why nobody's using that. Like that
because
is
you're so tired. You're feeling powerless, and you don't realize you're in that position. But yes,
so great. All right, Jen, sit right there, and then when we come back, I want to talk about that. It's only too late if you don't start now. Okay. All right. This is where we're going to go with that. All right, guys. So sit right there. We'll be right back with Jen. All right, Jen. So I have this saying that it's only too late if you don't start now. I will tell you, I only listen to it about 2% of the time when I'm telling myself this. But for those parents that are out there listening and they're like, yes, okay, I feel a little bit better. I'm realizing that, perhaps I'm in a circle of toxic positivity, which is a total freaking thing. I don't even know why we don't talk about that more. And it's okay to not be okay. And I shouldn't be shooting on myself. Right?
Right.
How do we start fresh today?
How do we start fresh today? Make one small change. Start small. Shift the dynamic, shift the narrative, change something that is bothering you. Whether it is, I'm doing this because this is what works for me in the moment, or I'm not doing this because this does not work for me. Start small. Change is hard. I always say that, right? Change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. People don't like it. You're not kind of fitting that mold that they're used to, and they're pushing back a little bit. But again, at the end of the day, this is your life, your kids, your family, and you need to do what's best for your family as a unit. So again, start small. Pick one thing to change, and see how it goes. And also kind of pairing with it, sometimes sitting in the discomfort is okay as well. If that makes sense, feels a little yucky, but you're like, I know why I'm doing it. And build gradually. I say this is a process, right? And know your why. Why it is you're doing something, why you're not doing something, own it and sit with it for a minute.
Amen.
And build.
Amen. And guys, and that could mean a million different things, right? So it's sitting in the discomfort. Like that could mean you telling your grandmother to mind her own business in a really nice way. It could mean that you're going to stop breastfeeding because you hate it.
Yeah.
And it could be that you're not going to that wedding because you're not putting the babies on a flight and you're just not doing it. It's not because of COVID or whatever. You're just like, no. So sometimes it is hard. Is it bad to have one person be the bad cop and one person be the good cop in a relationship?
In terms of like the actual parenting, or in terms of giving the messages to the
outside, not for the kids. Everybody should be the bad cop. That's the way that I vote when it comes to parenting. Just everybody needs to accept that you're not going to be loved 100% of the time. But this is when it comes to families. Like, there's the whole thing about gatekeeping and being a protector. Do you think that it is an appropriate thing to do to kind of like assign yourself roles in your family and be like, all right, babe, you're the bad cop, I'm the good cop, or vice versa?
I think that kind of happens naturally, unfortunately, for better or for worse. Ideally, I think if you and your partner or whomever can align, kind of present it together, use the we, this is how we feel. And then if necessary or needed, the person who maybe, has like a little bit more empowerment at the moment can then kind of reinforce, what's being said. And so I found with my husband and I, we were very much on the same page, thank goodness, for, saying no to certain things or, look, we're doing this because this is what we need to do. And then I also then found that he was able to kind of take it like a little bit further and be like, no, like kind of, reinforce that, like, we're just not doing it. And if there's a problem, come to him. We've unified, we've given you our message. Anything, questions, go to him because I'm busy right now with the kids. And that worked for us. Yeah. But I think if, got bad cop, good cop, I think that really kind of can be a struggle. And someone's kind of always vilified and then getting the blame for not participating or making decisions that maybe it's not popular with the rest of the crew. I think it's a lot for a person to take on, and it's not fair, right? We're allowed to choose our choice. We are allowed to. You might not like it. You don't have to like it. Just respect it, And so again, you could align. That's ideal. But I understand it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. It's sometimes people like, your in-laws might only listen to your partner.
Right.
They're not, they're going to dismiss you. And they'll say, oh, she really doesn't mean that. Or, it's just postpartum. Oh, don't even get me started.
Please.
Although I will say that the postpartum period is a wonderful time to just make the poop hit the fan. Because you could like that whole babies equals power thing. Like, I'm not kidding you. I think that the minute that people realize that you could say, hey, listen, this is not what's happening. And then I'm a big fan of guilt. I have to be honest, Jen, because that's what my family does to me. And so I throw it back to them because I feel like that's a language that they speak. I'm not saying that you should do this for everybody. But I will totally, I don't even know if it's passive aggressive, but I would have, when they were little, I would say things like, I know you wouldn't want us going out because it's going to snow this week. Like, I know you wouldn't want us coming to your house this weekend. Because let me just put the cart before the horse. Like, I see that this is going to be a thing for this weekend. I know you wouldn't want this. Or, I know how many times you told me I should do this. So this wouldn't be the rule because it's, the exception because it's you. Right. I paid very close attention to the things that were said, and I tried to use it against them. As crappy as that was, or genius, I don't know which one it was. But for me, it was definitely like a self-preservation mechanism.
Again, every family is different. Everyone's dynamics are different. It is okay to have boundaries. It is healthy, right?
People don't know that though, Jen. Honestly, you say that like boundaries are a common thing with everybody, but they're not. There are people who have such a gray line for so many years, with everybody being in their business all the time. And it doesn't only have to be family members. It could be friends. It could be coworkers. 100%. It could be bosses. Yeah. It could be mentors. There are people who basically, it's like, the line is there, but they erased it. So there's just a hint of it left. And especially if you've gone through an infertility process, you might have been oversharing for so long because you felt so much that it's very hard to be like, okay, I got to draw this line again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Boundaries are hard. I'm a therapist. I'm almost 50 years old and I'm still working on establishing boundaries in different realms of my life. So, I get it. It is a hard thing to do. And again, it is not popular for the people that you are kind of creating those boundaries with, but it is self-preservation. It is okay to say no. It is okay to say, no, this
Yeah.
is self-care. It's
Yeah.
self-care saying this is not going to work for me.
Ugh.
But again, I do understand easier to say that than to actually establish it.
Mhm.
It's work. It takes a lot of work. And again, kind of knowing your why, going back to knowing your why, you know, and kind of continue to say, this is where I stand. This is where I stand. And
Yeah.
you know, take it or leave it at some point.
It's the freaking truth.
It's complicated.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's so weird. And like, these are all of the things that happen with new motherhood, right? You have the, I'm not happy, I'm sleep deprived. Why is everybody telling me this is the best, you know, time in my life? How lucky am I that I have two? And then everybody's trying to get involved in your business. You're trying to set boundaries. You're trying to filter out the bad from the good and decipher the information that realistically you should take into consideration versus the showman crap that's out there on the web. It's so overwhelming.
It is so, you're trying to survive. Those beginning years, you were forget about thriving, surviving. You just like want to get through each day. And yes, and all that crap that's out there, 99.9% of it is not very helpful. And again, it's more harmful than helpful.
Yeah.
So it's hard. And again, you know, having your kids are big now, my kids are getting big, and you feel for these new parents who are first going through this. And even too, I often, you know, bump into parents pushing twins on the streets. And I check in with them. I'm like this random person walking on the streets.
It's hard for me, Jen. I keep my boundaries. I feel really bad about that because I desperately want to be like, hey, listen, I don't know if you know who I am. Google me quick.
Yes.
I'm not just a crazy person. But you know what I have noticed, that because I have no boundaries, therefore my kids don't. And that is that I realized that maybe I should have paid attention to this a little bit more early on when it comes to things like that, because now I'm having to have my kids, like, now that they have their own independent relationships, like, are they drawing appropriate boundaries where me and you could see, like, you know, red light, right. Stop, danger. They're like, oh, I could save them or whatever. Because if you always keep accepting not the best things for yourself, be it with your family, be it the people around you, if you always do that, it basically sets your kids up to think that that's typical.
Right.
And when you're new, if the thing is, if we could realize that all eyes are on you from the jump.
Yeah.
Instead of having the guilt about being like, hard stop, like, no, I can't do this. Is there a way that perhaps we could shift it to say that I'm teaching my kids, even though they're only 3 weeks old, I am teaching my kids the right way to handle this situation? Is that possible?
I mean, well, 3 weeks, right? They're young. But I think, look, as parents, there's always teaching opportunities. Our kids are watching us at all times, right? And we're kind of leading the way, and they're learning the good and the not so good, and then everything in between from us. But I think, yes, to kind of be the self advocate for yourself. And then when the kids are maybe a little bit bigger, to turn and say, you know what, we're not doing this because, again, keeping it kid friendly, right? And very like easy, basic language. You know, we're not doing this because we were too busy today. It just doesn't work for us today. We could do it another day. So you're letting the child know, you know, maybe why it is we're not going here or doing this or doing that. You're giving it very kind of clear, easy explanation and letting them know that doesn't mean no forever. Maybe somewhere down the road we'll do it. So you're kind of, I guess, showing them that it is okay to say no. It doesn't work, but it doesn't mean that that's forever. Just at this moment, this is not what's working for us, and that's okay.
Yes, 100%. And what I meant before wasn't that I really think that a 3-week-old is paying attention. I meant more like metaphorically, because I know as parents that we are much quicker to do things for our children than we are for ourselves.
Yes.
That maybe if we could shift the mindset and say, I'm not doing this to protect me, I'm doing this to protect them, that maybe we would be more okay with creating a boundary or creating limitations or being easier on ourselves.
Well, with that, yes, you can. I mean, if you're able to kind of get your mind to that, to say, I'm saying no to this because I know I don't have enough energy for this. And also the energy that my kids need for me for, to take them here or do that. If you're able to kind of make that shift, then I think, yes, you do feel better about establishing that boundary and kind of advocating for yourself, because I suppose that way it takes away from any thoughts you might have of disappointing somebody, and you're shifting it saying, no, this is for my kids. I'm going to be more present for them. And that, I think, yes, if you're able to kind of do that and view it that way, then it might be easier to kind of implement more regularly. Sure.
To me, it's always about like, how could we shift it so that it's going to actually work? Because we could sit here, you and I could sit here all day long, right? And we could say, listen, try this, think this, try to change your mindset to this, go to sleep earlier, don't look at social media. We could say all of this, but until somebody realizes that, okay, yes, this is bad. B, I want to change it. Because that's another thing. It's like, I could talk to people till they're blue in the face, but unless you're really ready and you realize, right, that like in every 12-step, 10-step program, whatever the heck it is, the first step is that admitting that there's a problem, right? So do you find that this is too overwhelming for you? Do you not want it to be overwhelming? Because there's also people who love being the center of attention and being the little circle of misery that goes around and everybody pays attention to them and says, poor you, poor you. There's people who feed on that, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you get fed, I'm cool with it. I'm down. If you're happy, I'm happy. But if you're not happy and you want to make the changes, there's a lot of ways to do it. And I always think it's such a stupid saying, but it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? It's the same thing. If you want to make a change and you're tired of being upset and you're tired of being miserable, I'm going to touch on some of the things that you said already and then add in the stuff that I forgot. Okay. All right. So if we realize that this is a crappy reality of motherhood and we're miserable, we could find people and surround ourselves with people that are in the same situation as us. Ideally, twin parents should have at least one set of twin friends, whether it's virtual, in person, whatever. And I'll throw myself out there. That's why we have freaking monthly meetings, guys. Like, no joke. We're not doing the monthly meetings for us. Me and Lauren know everything that we talk about monthly. It is really for you guys to connect and find other people. So finding your kind of tribe, right? Then the second thing is accepting that you are not okay. And it is okay to not be okay. That you do not have to, buy into this joyous motherhood celebration if you don't feel it. It's okay not to feel it. The third thing is that if people are throwing things at you, and I really do enjoy the toxic positivity saying, because I never knew that was a thing. But if you're tired of people saying, oh, you're so lucky, whatever, you could drink it in, but don't let it sink. You could be there, but you don't have to believe it. If you don't believe that things are okay and you don't feel happy, don't feel miserable because you should be happy. It's okay to not feel what the rest of the world thinks that you should be feeling. The next thing is that you really should make sure that you are setting clear boundaries and only doing the things that are going to benefit you, your partner, and your children, your little core. It doesn't have to be all the people that are around you. You can't please everybody. My husband literally has a shirt that says, I can't please everybody and today's not your day. So
I love that.
He's the best. And that's just him. And he'll wear that for anybody, any day. It's never anybody's day. But am I missing something that new parents could do if they feel miserable to just perhaps make themselves feel a little bit better?
No, I think you just reviewed and hit everything right on the head. I think that's really it. I think just kind of piggybacking something you had said about like getting help and, whatnot. You have to be in the place where you want to get the help, right? Kind of acknowledging like, this is crappy. I want this to change. Until that point, that's okay. If you're continuing through and you're okay with it, so be it, that's fine. But I think you just reviewed a really good list.
I'm a good note taker, Jen.
You're excellent. Well done.
I'm a
well
good
done.
Student. And the babies equals power is what I wrote down.
Yes, the babies equal power. Yeah.
That's it.
And also too, just you have a voice. You have a voice. Use it.
Jen. Come on, guys. Jen and I will be going door to door around the country coming to save you.
A town near you.
It's horrible. I did a podcast the other day with this woman in California, and I got off the podcast and I called my husband and I'm like, babe, I have to go to California. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, I have to go help her. And he's like, Nat, you can't go help her, Nat. We have things that we cannot do this. And it hurts me. Like, because for you guys that are listening, and a lot of you who meet me in person, be it at local events or wherever, everybody says, I feel like I know you. And I say to them, you do, because you do. So I may not know you, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. I really do try to save everybody. Jen, you're listening to this, but Jen, could you read what this says? It's going to be written backwards for you.
It says, what is my role?
What is my role? It is on a Post-it that is next to me because I am the queen of no boundaries. And so I had to think about what is my role in this parent in California. What is my role in that? Could I really just up and abandon my family, despite the fact that I have the miles to do it and I wouldn't even have to pay for a flight? But my role was that I did find her support organizations in her local area. Yeah. And I did find other people in her area that I could pass the ball to. So I have a very, very hard time. And when you guys call me and you're struggling with new parenthood, people also, Jen, they always think like the number on the Twiniversity site, it's actually my cell phone. And nobody believes that. Like they think we're like a corporate headquarters. And so sometimes people will call and they'll be like, can I speak to somebody in the classes department? And I'll be like, blah, 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 classes department. Like, what do you think we are here? It's just me and a few other twin moms. But if you need support and you're feeling like I'm super miserable in parenthood and I hate this, it's cool. We're down with it. Yeah. We support your misery. Come play in our sandbox of misery. We're down with it. But at the end of the day, we promise you're going to leave laughing because that 100%. That's what has to happen. And that's the best part about having twin parent friends. Jen, when you had, when they were little and you made friends with those people, didn't you feel like so much of the pressure was off if you had play dates?
Oh my God. Absolutely. Oh, that was the best because it was so universally sloppy.
Yes,
it was
a mess.
You didn't need to feel like it needed to be perfect. And the kids were all over the place and it was okay. I remember taking my kids when they were really little to a music class, and we live over in Brooklyn and they call it like Brownstone, Brooklyn, the area, because there's all brownstones. And to get to this music class, you had to go up a flight of steps up to this brownstone. And everyone's going with their singleton baby. No disrespect to the singletons. And here I am with a stroller and two babies. I was like, are you kidding me right now? And these classes were miserable for me because by the time I came in there, it was like a full contact sport. And I had two kids going 1,000 places and everyone just sat there with the kids, in their lap. And yes, when you're around other twin parents, it's freeing. It is freeing. And you need that. Find your tribe. They are there. They are there. And they understand in a way that no other people do.
Oh my God. I'm laughing so hard because I remember that when the twins were little, we went to a music class because I feel like, I don't know if the rest of the world does this, but here in New York, I don't know if it's because our communities are weird and, our little town has 9.5 million people that it's hard to just connect with people. But I remember when I went to a music class, first I cursed my whole way there. And then there was an elevator that I didn't fit in. So I had to leave the stroller downstairs and then take the kids in. And then during the music class, my son would just hide under the chairs. And that my daughter would try to kibosh people with the shaky eggs. And then there were other sets of twins in this class. And I remember that we all just decided like 3 weeks in, like, F this, we're out of here. We're going to buy ourselves some shaky eggs on Amazon because why the hell are we spending the money on this? Anyway, and we just
Exactly.
went to somebody's house each week. The kids just sat and we had like pretend, music class. And then we just had some coffee. We had some snacks. The kids were a hot mess. Nobody our kids were usually in pajamas. Like we didn't even get them dressed to go. That was the best. You need other twin parents. It was not only twin. I'm going to say I raised you a triplet family. Throw some of those in the mix. If you could find one of those, I had two. We had two triplet families that we played with when we were little. We had like steady triplet girl play dates. And then we had 2 boys and a girl. So it was really, really great because then I was like, okay, I am clearly winning parenthood for the first time. Yeah. Like I felt like twins aren't miserable. Oh,
exactly.
Jen, this has been so great and so enlightening. And I pray that everybody that's listening to this really starts picking up what we're putting down here.
Absolutely. Same. No, this was terrific. And again, I think Twiniversity is such a great company, resource, outlet for parents of twins on a whole host of topics and support. So I think that's fantastic. Because God knows us twin parents need it.
Truth, man.
So,
truth. Yes. And guys, if you need anything from me, if you need things from Jen, we're going to put all Jen's links in the show notes. So make sure that you keep stalking Jen. And if you need anything from her, she's one of us, guys. Just go and hunt her. That's how it goes. We live to help each other because nobody paid attention to us, or I shouldn't speak for Jen, but I'm going to say we suffered through so much that we didn't have to. The best redeeming factor of that is that we could help you not suffer.
Exactly.
The least we could do, right? We pass it on, Jen. We didn't know.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. It's the freaking truth. All right, guys. So if you need anything from us, you know where to find us. You can email community@twiniversity.com if you need me, or if you can't find the show notes and you're watching this on YouTube or whatever. I don't even know where you see this, but go and send us some messages because we really do want to make sure that you're getting support you need. And like I said, during the show today, we really do. We have a Twiniversity meetup once a month. It's hosted by a twin-specific lactation counselor. She's a mom of twins. She is a postpartum doula. She is, in her former life, she was a social worker. I mean, you can't do better than Lauren. And so for the whole year, it's going to be me and Lauren. We have some set topics each month, but they're very wiggly. But just show up and just be a part of our crazy community. And if you need a scholarship to the membership, I'm down with that too, man. Don't think that I'm sitting here trying to save money to buy my kids giraffes. That's not the goal of Twiniversity. It's to make sure that you have a better parenting experience, whatever that means to you. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later, alligators. Thanks for being a part of our family.